Thank you so much for tuning in to Middle of Praise TV. My name is Victoria Brenda, and today Kenya is a grieving nation because of the loss of our former and hero Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. We stand as a grieving nation, and we have seen that most of parts in Kenya, people are grieving. We've seen people in the streets lamenting and asking questions, but everything happens for a reason. We actually celebrate the days that he has spent with us, na tunasema kwamba kuna mambo mengi ambayo ametufundisha, kuna vitu ambavyo alianzisha na familia yake pamoja na Wakenya kwa ujumla. We are really grieving to lose such kind of a person. So we stand as a nation, as a grieving nation, hearts heavy with sorrow. You can almost find no one laughing today. Yeah. But yet we are bound together by love and remembrance. I don't think there's anyone who's going to forget the things that our former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has done or has been doing in our nation. Though tears may fall, like we've seen so many people are asking question, why did he has to go? Yeah, he has actually lived up to 80 years, but people still really wanted to remain with him. And I think if anyone got news of him ailing, najua kwamba kumbe Wakenya wangejitokeza kwa maombi na wa stop like what happened in South Africa wakati wa Nelson Mandela. People held their hands and prayed against his death, and actually it took a while before his demise. So we are saying that our unity shines brighter. Yeah, there is no town that we didn't see people actually crying and showing their sorrows. Um, so our unity shines brighter than our pain, reminding us that even in loss, we remain in one people, one nation, one family. Yet we do not grieve without hope. Yeah, all hope is not lost. So we here is Middle of Praise TV trying to encourage the family and even our fellow Kenyans that we are not grieving without hope, for we know that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit. We are not alone. Though we mourn deeply, we'll find peace in knowing that God's love never fails. Even in our darkest hour, may His healing hand rest upon our land, and may His comfort strengthen every soul that mourns today. So to each and every one out there who is listening from Middle of Praise TV, we pray that the God's healing hand will rest upon our land, that His hand will comfort and strengthen every soul that is mourning today.
The people of this country desire change from the status quo, which will enable them to realize their dreams.
Raila Amolo Odinga, wanipatie mimi kazi.
This was not necessary if the elections were not rigged. This is not a question of appealing to Raila to stop the violence. No. There must be justice, truth. That's when there will be peace.
No one could have thought that out of the bitter harvest of the disputed elections and the violence that pitted our people against each other just 2 years ago, we would be witnessing today the birth of a national unity that has eluded us for more than 40 years. Haitaisha mpaka Wakenya wapate haki yao.
So today, as I began, we gather again as a grieving nation, a people united not only by loss, but by love and faith. In this moment of sorrow, we lift our eyes to heaven, trusting in the God who gives and takes away. Though our hearts are heavy, we find strength in His promise that joy comes in the morning. May the Lord comfort every home, heal every wound, and guide our nation through this valley of tears. And as we inspire us, and as we remember those who have lost, may their memories inspire us to walk in unity, peace, and hope as one nation. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to Middle of Praise TV. We are talking about the demise of our former Prime Minister, Mr. Raila Odinga, who actually has rested at the age of 80 years. And we are going to go through, we're going to go through what he introduced into this country. First of all, he actually introduced a multi-party democracy. He introduced multi-party democracy. All of us know that we only had something like Kano, and then he came in with this multi-party introduction, a democracy. Raila Odinga was a central figure in Kenya's push to end the one-party system under President Daniel Arap Moi. He also, in 1991, Section 2A of Kenya Constitution, which has made Kenya a one-party state, was repealed, re-legalized opposition parties. And we actually got parties like National Rainbow Coalition, the NAC party, and Kibaki Tosha. So he is the first person who introduced a multi-party democracy. He also served in government and in ministries. As we all know, Raila Amolo Odinga served in government and also in ministry. He was a minister for energy around 2001 and 2002 under Moi's government. Later on, under President Mwai Kibaki, after 2002, he was Minister for Roads, Public Works and Housing to 2003 5. In that role, what did he do? We are going to learn that he pushed for major road projects, infrastructure development, and introduced or advocated for more technically rigorous standards in road construction. And we are going to actually see in a quick one, like I said, we're not going to go deeper, but this is a person we all know. That's why we are saying today Kenya is a grieving nation. Kenya is a grieving nation. No one is talking about anything right now but the demise of our former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. So what did he do while he was still alive? Actually, there was that champion of election accountability and legal challenges. Odinga repeatedly, we all know this. He repeatedly contested presidential election. He started in 1997, 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022, and I tell you, we were waiting for him to actually do it again. And 2027, we challenged the results, pushing for legal court-based redress. So this is a person who never gave up. This is a person who never gave up. That's why we are saying this today, that as we are grieving as a nation, we are not going to give up. There's something he started that we're going to join our hands together to accomplish it. He introduced infrastructure and engineering approach. Raila Amolo Odinga introduced infrastructure and engineering approach. With this engineering background, what did he do? Odinga emphasized infrastructure with technical soundness. We can also attest to this. For example, the Thika Superhighway was one of the big transport corridor projects he championed. We all can attest to this. He also promoted innovations in road materials, example like concrete paving for durability on urban corridors. So there are so many things that people are saying that he did. Everyone knows. We sing like babies. We know what he started. We know what he introduced in the country. We know what he has been trying to fight against. That's why we are saying today Kenya is a grieving nation. Kenya is a grieving nation. At Middle of Praise TV, we actually join hands with those that are mourning the demise of our former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga. We also know that he introduced that African Union and continental role. The African Union and continental role. We are saying that he served as an African Union High Representative for Infrastructure Development. Our former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga served as African Union High Representative for Infrastructure Development from which year? From 2018 to 2023, working to promote infrastructure priorities across the continent. We are going to actually mention but a few things that our former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga introduced to this country. He also introduced political coalitions and national dialogue. He also introduced, in case you were wondering, when did we start or who introduced this national dialogue? It was him. He introduced a political coalition and a national dialogue. What did he do? In a few, we're going to see he led several political coalitions, including the CORD, we know, yeah, and NASA, yeah, and Democratic Movement, the ODM, that we know very well. Actually, when you say ODM, it must go one in one with the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. These were platforms that sought to unify the opposition and push for reforms. Like we said earlier, he didn't give up. He started something. When he failed, he will stand up and do it again and again and again. So, who remembers the handshake? Who remembers the handshake? And everyone says, handshake, handshake. How did that happened? So the handshake that happened in 2018 between Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta was a major moment of political reconciliation, reducing tension, opening pathways for cooperation, though it was controversial among some. Some we did not understand, and some said, oh, he has betrayed us, and all that. But this is a person well known by everybody, young and old, rich and poor, Christians and non believers. Everyone knows that Kenya today is a grieving nation. And thank you so much for keeping it up with Middle of Praise TV. We're talking about a grieving nation today. So all of us know that Kenya today is a grieving nation. We have lost a prominent or a hero in our country. And we're going to see flags hung half because of what is going on in the country. Even our president has really announced a 7 days mourning, a flag inaenda kukua nusu, because Kenya, the entire nation, we actually lose people every day, and we can find families that are grieving for their lost one. But today, the whole nation, Kenya, is grieving. We say Kenya is a grieving nation. So how did Raila Amolo Odinga actually died? We're going to see that Raila Amolo Odinga died of a cardiac arrest. That is a heart attack. A cardiac arrest, which is heart attack, on October 15th, 2025. And he was in India, as we've been informed, being treated in Kerala, collapsed during a morning walk. He was rushed to Devamatha Hospital in Ernakulam. And as we all know that the body was actually brought in to the country from India. And after arrival at JKIA, the body was taken to Lee Funeral Home, whereby later it was moved to the Parliament buildings in Nairobi for public viewing from about noon to 5 p.m. So this is a 4-day state funeral program being observed. On Friday, there will be a state funeral service at Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi. Saturday, the body will be flown or transported to Kisumu for further public viewing. A final burial will be on Sunday. October 19, 2025, at his family home, Opoda Farm in Bondo, Siaya County, next to his father and son's grave. So this the 4-day state funeral program. We have just said that there will be state funeral service at Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi. The body will be flown transported to Kisumu for further public viewing, and final burial on Sunday, October 19th, 2025, at his family home, Opoda Farm in Bondo, Siaya County, next to his father and son's grave. And this is how we're going to lay this mighty hero that we have just lost as a nation. So this marks the end of a grieving nation. Kenya is a grieving nation. May his soul rest in peace. Bye bye.